Hey everyone, just a quick disclaimer before we start the episode. There are going to be heavy spoilers for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. If you haven't seen it yet and are wary of spoilers, you might want to skip this one. But if you're cool with it, then without further ado,
then the point stands. I don't like it.
on the note of like what could the future of like Mario hold with like hopefully him liking mushrooms and stuff like that, what would you guys want to see in like a potential sequel or something?
Okay, so here I'm gonna drop the theories.
Booze.
Okay, so this is what I want to have happen, and then what I kind of expect to have happen. I want there to be the next movie to be about Super Mario World, which is my favorite game of all time.
Okay.
It's gonna be Baby Bowser shows up and frees his dad, and in order to take over the Mushroom Kingdom, they are essentially going to go get some help or force help from the Yoshis. So they are going to capture all the Yoshis. And at the end credits, we saw the one last Yoshi was in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And that's going to set off Super Mario World. In that game, you have to go save all the Yoshis from Bowser. And in this one, you're going to take Yoshi, who's going to be hatchling in Brooklyn, finds Mario and Luigi, and you have to go rescue all the Yoshis. And that's going to be Super Mario Brothers 2.
Interesting.
I had some other ideas about that too, because the Yoshi thing that you were just talking about, I feel like they also did a few hints at Galaxy, and Galaxy 2 specifically added Yoshi to its like core gameplay. So I was wondering if they might mix Mario World and Galaxy for the next movie.
Ooh, okay. So like take the Yoshis to new galaxies, and they're doing something with the Yoshis.
Yeah, and then also we haven't seen the Bowser children yet either.
The Koopa Kids.
Yeah, the Koopa Kids. So I could see them making them the main villains of the next movie.
Which would be a Super Mario World thing.
That makes sense because in Super Mario World, the environment kind of changes pretty significantly from like area to area.
Mm-hmm.
And that's similar to Mario Galaxy, where like each of the different areas are like almost self-contained worlds in a way. They're like self-contained like biomes, kind of.
Yeah.
So I could totally see them kind of mixing that together.
And they had plenty of references to galaxies with just the Luma being there, Peach's out of pocket. Galaxies in the sky.
No, definitely.
That Luma was like my favorite character in the movie.
I loved that Luma.
Yeah, that was actually like that was some pretty good comedy out of the Luma.
Just cheerfully dark.
Totally not from the Mario games, but like good job, I think.
I actually hear that Luma itself, they're a reference to other Illumination characters, because I forget who exactly brought it up, but I was watching a lot of kind of discussions like this that we're having on YouTube after seeing the movie, and a couple of people brought up the fact that Illumination always kind of has this dark, depressing character contrasted by like cute looks type of person.
It is a comedy that stands. So I like it.
For some reason, I now feel slightly dirty for liking that character.
It's okay.
I mean, hey, Illumination did do this movie, and if you like this movie, then you like Illumination, right? You like Illumination.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's at least one movie that you like from them.
I'm in the same boat where I've only seen Despicable Me 1. So like I don't want to assume that the other movies are bad. I just, I thought Despicable Me was pretty decent though.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. Something that I would like to see is kind of some follow through with some of the dropped plot points, specifically Peach's backstory, because like there's a lot of commotion in the beginning about like Mario is another human. Oh my gosh. Like there's another human around, and like it's kind of weird that Peach like knows knows the word human because she traveled to the Mushroom Kingdom as a child. So like what's the backstory there? Has she seen other humans before? Does she has some conflict with other humans? Like she knows what a human is. She comes from, in theory, the exact same warp pipe that Mario, and not Luigi, but like that Mario came through. So is she from New Donk City, or is she from somewhere else in the universe, as she alluded to? Like, she's clearly not from the Mushroom Kingdom, because we see her enter the Mushroom Kingdom, and then they just kind of make her princess. Like, where does King Toadstool fit into that? Like, there's so many questions, and then they allude to Peach's backstory, and then never follow through with it. Like, it's just one big question mark. And so I would like to see some follow through.
I was gonna say, so this actually leads into the other theory that this is So the one with Super Mario World, that's kind of what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to have happen, and this could tie in. So with like Peach's backstory, what I think they could do is make it be like, oh, she was split at birth and something happened that led her to the Mushroom Kingdom, while Daisy is her sister, goes to Sarasa Land, or what was it called? It's like
No, that was what it was called.
Sarasa Land.
Yeah.
And what I want to have happen, the fact that she knows that she's human is because she has like a remnant of like her sister, so she knows what a human should look like. Like she'll have like a picture or something. And I want the main bad guy of the next movie to be Wario and has something to do with stealing stuff from Daisy.
Yeah,
And I want Wario to be the main bad guy, which also, if you know your Mario games, makes sense. Wario was a main bad guy in Super Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins.
Yeah, and Daisy was introduced in Super Mario Land 1.
So what I want Wario to be the main villain of the next movie.
What do you feel like the future holds for Nintendo cinema as a whole? I want to start this off by saying, like, I noticed that Kit and Krista, who used to work in Nintendo, like at Nintendo America marketing departments, like Kit was in charge of all Nintendo marketing for all of America and the English speaking world for like 7 years or something.
Wow.
And Krista also did some like marketing. Like between the two of them, they have like over 15 years experience. They also did the Nintendo Minute, like kind of podcast video thing that they used to do. There's a lot of credibility between them, like working at Nintendo for so long. And they mentioned that within Nintendo, they're definitely thinking about what the next thing is. And specifically, they're talking about like what the next rung of movies is, what the next rung of franchises is outside of Mario, because kind of Mario proved itself and they proved that they like have a really strong formula. They could go to like other studios or just Illumination or whatever else and say like, hey, this did better than like anything. any like a video game adaptation movie, any animated movie like in history. So we know that our like IP is worth movies. And they mentioned specifically Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and Fire Emblem.
I think out of those three, I think Fire Emblem probably has the biggest chance of that. That's not necessarily what I would want, but I think at least out of those three.
Fire Emblem already kind of has explored other media before, because there was a Fire Emblem TV show back in the day. And also Fire Emblem has ongoing manga. Like there's one right now going with Fire Emblem Engage. So like seeing Fire Emblem stuff in the future, like a Fire Emblem movie or TV show or anime or whatever, could be.
I would rather have an anime. An anime for Fire Emblem, I think, would work best for that series specifically.
Kind of a more serious toned anime in the same sense of like a Castlevania or something like that. I think would be super interesting. But
Yeah,
like
probably not as bloody, but definitely there.
Yeah, maybe. But there's some other like TV shows in the past, like Mario used to have a TV show, like we mentioned, but then also Kirby and
Zelda.
Zelda had a TV show too. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So, like,
Zelda did.
They
Remember, it's smooching time.
and there
It
was
it was a segment in the Super Mario Super Show.
the
Oh, wow,
Zelda
that's
was
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So yeah, like there's just, and like, there's also been manga, like Fire Emblem
Okay.
has the manga.
Also, you can bring back my boy Captain Falcon. He's had an anime.
Oh, okay.
If you don't know that he's had an anime, so rebooting that, actually having F-Zero do something, that would be cool.
So yeah, there's a bunch of like just tertiary stuff that they have done in the past, like Mario and Fire Emblem and Kirby, but then also stuff that they've been doing recently, like the new Fire Emblem manga, and like Zelda had a manga not that long ago, and Splatoon has an ongoing manga currently that has to do with like the power of music and all of that. So like it'd be interesting to see where the like other media goes from here, maybe like TV shows or something like that. But more immediately, I think that they're thinking about what the next movie holds. And it's just interesting, like two former Nintendo employees that worked in marketing saying specifically Splatoon, Animal Crossing, and Fire Emblem. Like what would an Animal Crossing, I can kind of have some ideas about Splatoon because the lore is really deep. Like what would an Animal Crossing movie look like?
So
I feel like
actually, there's been one already.
Oh,
Well, really? Actually,
Drop that
okay.
lore.
Yes.
Here's
there
the
is an
actually.
actual Animal Crossing. It's actual Animal Crossing movie for Wild World. I forget what year, but there was a Japanese theater only, I think, release. I think it's just called Animal Crossing, and it's about the one of the characters, you play as the humans moving to the town and there, and that's kind of what the movie's about. It's kind of loosely following what you would do in an Animal Crossing playthrough, I suppose.
I was gonna say, I feel like if there's like Animal Crossing movie would probably be like the Winnie the Pooh movie. Like I feel like it'd be the very similar like feel to it.
Isabelle is the Heffalump.
It'll be something like that where like, oh, we're building up this village, but like, oh, we're scared of something that's like stupid because we don't understand it, and it's just gonna be like red.
I think I could see them going with like an anime that's very like skit focused, anthology like, kind of like, I don't know, there's a lot of like anime spin-offs that are just like chibi characters and like short comedy clips, something like that. I could see that happening.
But like as far as like the cinema goes, like obviously I think that we all have the expectation that a sequel to the Mario movie is coming.
Yeah.
Like most
Yeah,
likely from
definitely.
Illumination. But I
Yeah.
don't think that their partnership with Universal is over, because they are doing all the Super Mario worlds, or sorry, Super Nintendo worlds.
I
So-
would not be surprised if behind the scenes they have some 10-year contract to do, or even longer, 10, 15, 20-year contract to do
Mhm.
multiple movies and shows based off of Nintendo IP.
Yeah, I expect that there's something kind of beneath the surface kind of boiling like that, yeah. And I see specifically Illumination kind of taking the responsibility for that, if I had to guess. Not just in the like Mario, but I could totally see them, like, I think that they have the talent to do something similar to Animal Crossing, for example. But I'm a little less sure about Fire Emblem and Splatoon. Like Splatoon, the like kind of skater punk culture of Splatoon, the more serious tones of Fire Emblem, I have some doubts with. Being said, Fire Emblem Engage was maybe a little bit more general consumer friendly, if that's the polite way to put it.
If you want to say put that even deeper, I would say Kirby and Animal Crossing, out of those,
Kirby,
in
definitely.
addition to, is probably the more marketable and less fun for a Nintendo fan, I think. But just as like a general, like, this is appealing to young kids
It's
and
what
maybe
Illumination
older
would do.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
They would definitely do a Kirby.
absolutely, yeah.
Like as much fun as a Fire Emblem or a Metroid movie would be, that I think mass
Metroid.
market is a bit more of a thing they're going for at the moment.
If they were to do a Metroid movie, I don't know if anyone's seen the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Yes.
No,
No.
I haven't.
I don't like that movie, generally speaking. However, I do think that would make the best premise, generally speaking, for a Metroid movie.
You see, I want a Metroid movie in the same, like, to be a space, like, sci-fi horror movie in the same vein as Alien.
I agree.
I mean, that's when all the stars align and, we hit Steins Gate.
Yeah, they're
That's
not
the
gonna
best case
do it.
scenario.
They're not gonna
They're
do
not
it.
going to do it. They're not ballsy enough to do that, but I would appreciate it.
No, it would be something more along the lines of Lightyear. It would be like a cartoony, kind of more consumer-friendly approach would be Metroid.
And Lightyear was still like, I'm not really going to say graphic. I would say it's a little bit more realistic and dark, at least in terms of Pixar Disney standards. So like even keeping it at that level, if Nintendo feels safe enough there, I still think would be better. Like it does fit the theme a little bit more with Metroid in that kind of regard.
I was gonna say, and if Illumination wants to do Kirby, like I said, they have that trope of cute character saying demented thing.
Oh,
there's-
totally.
There's a perfect character called Marks from Kirby.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
That's literally the boss.
Yeah.
Kirby, anyways, has a kind of like weird dynamic where it's so cutesy and fun, and the Kirby character is like a big old round pink ball, right? Like it's so round, and round characters tend to be like the most consumer friendly, like child friendly characters. That's like a part of the reason why like just the characters in Despicable Me look the way
Yeah,
they do. Like
Yeah.
Peru is the main character and is like a round ball too. So like
Uh-huh.
I think that Kirby like makes a lot of sense in that regard, but Kirby also has the capability to go really, really dark. It has like all of a sudden every Kirby game at the very end pulls a complete 180, and then you're facing this eldritch horror monster that looks something out of like H.P. Lovecraft. Like what
All of a sudden, we're in Final Fantasy for the final boss.
Yeah, like you should
Yeah.
be censoring that thing. What are you doing with showing that in a Kirby game of all things? Like it's really shocking. So I could totally see them doing something kind of like comedically shocking in the same vein with that of that
I
Luma character, like super fun and bright, and then all of a sudden like, oh my god, once you like you
so
realize
okay.
it.
Okay, out there, third idea for a sequel to the Mario movie. You like literally just need to copy and paste Mario RPG.
Yeah. The secret final boss is like basically
Yeah,
just
the
a
secret
Final
final
Fantasy
boss.
villain.
Yeah,
Silence.
and then like now Bowser joins your team.
And then they all come together in the Subspace Emissary movie.
I mean, it's the one thing that Smash actually had in terms of a story. So I don't really include Smash Ultimate as like a really a story. It's just a bunch of characters fighting a thing.
It's almost like the sequel to like Subspace Emissary, which was an actual story. World of Light, that is.